Alright, back on the red sled. I'm going to show you a quick an easy kind of paint hack. I got here, this is the Rust-Oleum semi-gloss protective enamel, and I want to black out all my frame, everything inside here that used to be black. I'll move this compressor over out of the way. I won't get any overspray on the red areas, but I'd like to get back as far inside the frame rail as I can on both sides. Obviously I'll move the wires, but the way these spray nozzles are set up, it just kind of, I'll show you here. It's made to just, you have to basically fog this stuff on. And my dad showed me an easier way. So you take that tip off, if I can get it off there, and you got just a standard can of carburetor cleaner, you'll see that sprays very nicely. So basically I've got one of those tips. All you need to do is stick that tip on your can of spray paint, and let's see the difference. Be sure it's shaking up right here. So there's that spot. Watch this. If I can zoom in. Come on. There we go. See how much wetter that is? I kind of shot this a second ago, but this can is about out. I'll have to get another one. But just being able to coat that, it directs your spray better. And it will basically get every drop out of that you can. There goes that. Nice. That's if you don't want to get a paint gun out and buy a quart of paint or encapsulator or whatever. This is just the quickest, easiest way of doing this, and it'll be protected. This truck's 30 years old, 32. It's been here this long. Let me get another can and I'll hook it up. Alright, we're back. This is Magic Town and Country. This is matte black. I like matte black a little better than semi-gloss. It seems more like a factory shine to me, but there's the original cap, real similar to the other. I just tossed it off. Notice it has sort of a nipple sticking down, so I had to find a different can. I think this is actually off of a can of WD-40 or something, or some kind of penetrant. So watch how quick we can make magic happen here. So much nicer. How do we know?
Well, the shaft is hollow.
Hollow shaft. Lock up transmission. New seals in. Contact.
But how do you know if it's going to lock up or not?
I don't know. Oh man, that's dirty.
Oh, the side that matters is clean.
No, but I was filming. Apparently it's not made for this. Oh, that would click. Did you hear it click? doing something. There we go. And it's scraping the back of the transmission.
That's when you know you're in.
Right. I'll take it. We switched converters because this is a 360. Notice the jumbo weight that's been added. Move that leg a little.
You don't have to go right.
How about that? Hope that header's right. It's real close. It looks like.
She sat down yesterday where she should be.
It's looking a little wrong.
Sorry?
The header is looking a little wrong.
Looking wrong, huh?
Let me get up under it with some bell housing bolts now.
Let me cut the zip tie.
Only if you think it'll bind.
I think it'll bind.
If you think that header will bind.
Oh my God, out of your way there, Mike.
All right, back on our project. Had to pick up a new set of headers. They could have sent the wrong ones first time or ordered wrong or something, but here's that one. That pretty set that I pressure washed and cleaned up and painted. That was hitting that frame, front frame, remember. You may not be able to tell in the last video, but here's the headman set that they sent. So instead of the front tube coming to the outside, going into there, the front tube on this one goes to the far inside. So I think that's going to cure it for us. Here's the difference in the other two. To me, this looks like a car set of headers, probably a B or E body or something, but totally different. The headman set's a lot longer tubes. They got a little better collector built onto them, I think. Ball and socket joints. So that'll allow it to flex just a little bit. I know this paint's going to burn off like the other ones did, but at least we know these will fit. So I'm going to get them thrown in now and keep pushing on with our project. Would you look at that? Get the rest back there. Throw a couple studs in. These have anti-seize on them. They're going into aluminum heads. They got helicals anyway, but if this was a factory set of heads, you would have to wrap these bolts, Randy, in order to... Oh man. See if I can grab it. There we go. Boom, boom, boom. Hanging on my two studs with a mile of room. Better throw a nut on there. that from falling off. There we are. Not on this one. Ta-da! That's like butter. Now, before I tighten that up, I'm going to actually work my, well, I need to hook my converter bolts up to the flex plate and put the starter in, but I'll leave that header kind of hanging around. So I'll ease that down now and see what it looks like. Nah. Boom, pow, boom. Header has got a mile of room. I usually like Headmans for this reason. Let me go ahead and let it out a little more. Alright. There we go. Now if that was tight right now, just like that, we are clear. There's more than about 3/16 of an inch. That was pulled tight. Excellent. I'm going to leave it loose. Throw my starter on. Converter bolts. Alright. Hello. So I'm sticking in the converter bolts. Notice that orange, bright orange paint. Hopefully you can see it. I can see it on my converter. I can see it on my flex plate. I can move. Let me show you here. I can move the converter with my fingers because it's not in a bind. And I always start with that hole first, lining it up. If you didn't line it up before, you're going to have a headache today trying to get those in. I can get my fingers behind the converter and inch it forward now, just like that. Start the bolt. And there it is. Started. I'll screw it in as far as I can by hand, but still leave a little bit. See that little bit of slack? That's okay. But if you leave that bolt hanging out too far, when you turn this over in a second, the head of it will hit the block on the bottom. And that'll be a pain because then you got to turn the motor over backwards. So a couple ways to do this. You can put a big ratchet on the front of the motor, which I might do in a second. But since I've got one bolt in, I've got my big trusty screwdriver here. And I'm going to pry between the block and the teeth of the converter. If it moves pretty quickly, then I'll keep on with this. I normally just go a tooth at a time, which I can get to my other bolt here. Let me throw it in real quick. Easy peasy. Second bolt, 90 degrees from the first bolt. So especially if you get two of them in, you're gold. Should be. Let's see. I got 2 whole bolts in. One tooth at a time, and it didn't cost me a dime. Get a good tricep workout doing this too. There it comes. I'll get it where you can see it better. Easy. Now, our converter. There's our flex plate. Bolt number 3. Like butter. So about as far as I can screw it, it can still slide. It's also easier if the plugs are out of the motor. If these are not, I didn't want any trash in the holes. Alright. Number 4. So easy. Alright. Now all 4 are in. I can tighten them. I just got a ratchet wrench here. And I'll show you my trick. I mean, it's not my trick. I guess it's anybody's trick. But. So I'll tighten this bolt. And as it gets tight, you take my hand and just bump it. Eventually it'll turn that motor over. There it goes. So now that brings this one up. I can get my wrench on it. A lot of people say put Loctite on them. What about the Loctite? Can we get some Loctite on our bolts? No. Don't need no Loctite on the converter bolt. I'll show you. We're going to put our wrench on there and get it tight as we can by hand. See how it's turning that motor over? Okay. Like that. Take our hammer. Give it a tap. That bolt is tight. Yeah. There's a cousin bolt right here. She's pretty tight. Now, relief. Now rotate. Oh. They're gonna make me take the header off it. Dang, man it. Okay. Can I get around town? Get back up on it. Yay! Passenger side, I took the oil filter off. See if it'll go down in there. Like butter. There it is. Mile of space on every side.